Hello everyone, this is Jared. I'm playing Oxygen Not Included, and today I'm going to get the Carnivore achievement. Again, I've done this in a previous episode, but I wanted to do it in a way that was a little bit less painful than the last playthrough. So I'm having one dude have the Mechatronics engineering skill, really want to have that. They're a strong digger, a strong rancher, and a strong scientist to start off the team. So cycle one is always about cots and outhouses, so I put all that together. As soon as is possible, I accept a new dupe. This one's a good builder and a runner. By cycle 5, I get myself a rock crusher and oxygen diffuser, of course, research station. And in addition to the latrine and barracks, I also have a great hall at this point. I've accepted a new dupe that is interested in cooking. Once I have the living quarters together, I start work on a stable. I also tunnel out a path to the teleporter. By cycle 10, I've enhanced my living area with a washroom, showers, and a nature reserve that dupes need to run by to access the washroom. As soon as I have access to the teleporter, I send over a dupe to explore. I get them to defrost a friend straight away. I make a save just in case I do not like their negative trait. Then I immediately assign the new dupe the ranching skills and send them back to the starting planetoid. The remaining dupe will set up a basic living area while they wait for the teleporter to recharge. This new dupe has been busy wrangling hatches and putting them in the first stable. The stables are 96 tiles in size and can comfortably hold a maximum of 8 hatches and eggs. I take advantage of the early access to the Mechatronics engineering skill to build automation to pull eggs out of the stable as soon as they hatch. This is going to ensure that I'll get more eggs over time. The dupe in the other world has set up a great hall and is starting to work on showers and a washroom. I want 2 of the 3 stables to be filled with Sweetles, and the reason for that is they eat sulfur. I can get enough sulfur in this world to get my Carnivore achievement, but long term there's a sulfur geyser in the world that I can teleport to, so it's also going to be a good long-term food strategy. In the last episode, I had multiple stages to my incubator to give the lullaby effect to eggs. I'm not doing that in this stage. This time I'm adding all my automation before I begin because it's a pain to do this without this. So let me explain how this works. I got one of the dupes. Only one dupe is allowed in this room. And I actually lock them in the room when they're in there. So they do all their work. They don't leave in between things. I've got this area here where eggs are dropped off. And I can select which eggs do not have the lullaby effect. Auto Sweeper is going to bring those down, drop them into the room that the operator is currently in. And then I select a egg to be processed. They give that a hug. I then remove it so it's not running all the time. Mark another egg to be processed. And the auto sweeper, the moment it drops on the ground, so I hit the remove button, that auto sweeper is going to pick it up so it doesn't get processed a second time because that would be wasteful. And that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing for every single cycle until I get this achievement. I now have access to Sweetles, so I'm starting to get them to be populated into the second ranch. So each of these 3 ranches are going to have a maximum of 8 critters in them. And then again, eggs are automatically pulled out as they're laid. I built an electric grill. That's important to have early on because that converts 3,200 calories of meat into 4,000 calories of barbecue. And barbecue does qualify towards the Carnivore achievement, by the way. I now have a full hatch stable of 8. Any new hatches that are born are fair game for cooking. It doesn't matter if they're adults or not either. They produce the same number of meat either way, 3,200 calories. One really nice thing about this setup is I can control when the hatches are attacked. This removes the need for me to worry about food storage and having food go bad. The first few pieces of barbecue have been eaten and I have almost about 5,000 calories of meat eaten. I have a long way to go because I'm going to need them to consume 400,000 calories and I need them to do that before the end of cycle 100 or else I'm not going to get this achievement. What I have done here has made my life so much easier. I have automation that locks a dupe in an incubator room and will release them when there is either no eggs left to process or their break is about to start. So keep in mind only one dupe's allowed in that room. That's why there's this 2-door mechanism. So that's operator. They walk in and that door automatically closes. And that's because it sensed them. There's a dupe sensor and a weight plate. So the weight plate is seeing if there's any eggs. And if that's the case, then it'll lock the door. And it won't open it until they've processed all the eggs or their break is started. And I'm just at this point adjusting them to their start break. So even if all the eggs aren't processed, they are able to get out. And I just have to remember to remove that last egg, or I'm going to be wasting power. So let's see this in action. Operator's already trapped in the room. I've incubated an egg. The moment they're done with it, I hit the remove button that drops it on the ground. Sweeper picks it up, and then I incubate another egg and stay in this process until all the eggs have been lullabied. That sensor turns red, or again, it's at the end of the break. So there it is. The last egg has been removed, so that door is open. So I'll remember to hit remove, so I'm not wasting any power, and the dupe is free to do other things. So there are two sides to the carnivore achievement. One is the production of meat, which I've been heavily concentrating on so far, but the other half is the consumption. You have to have enough dupes in order to be able to actually consume that much meat. So every dupe eats 1,000 calories unless they have the bottomless stomach, in which the additional 500. And if you, for instance, start producing enough meat by cycle 50, if you had 8 dupes, you were going to just eat enough calories to get 400,000 by the end of 100. So you have to balance when you're able to produce the meat, and at that point, calculate how many dupes you need to be able to actually consume that before getting to 100. I'll talk more about this in the Down the Hatch achievement video coming up in the future, but I'm just selectively breeding my hatches to ultimately get smooth hatches. So the lullaby effect can give you a 20% increase per cycle for each egg, and that lasts up to a cycle. So that's going to get your eggs to hatch much quicker. Without doing this, you'll produce meat long term, but you're not going to be able to meet that 100th cycle deadline that we have. So you've got to remember to do this continually. You can miss a few cycles. I've missed a few cycles my playthrough, but how I remember it is every night I go in and I specify the eggs that don't have the lullaby effect. So I sweep those ones. And operator is set with a default schedule, so they're going to wake up in the morning. I specify one egg to be processed in the incubator. They'll run around. They'll do some of their work in the stable first. It's more important that they be in the stable because I want to make sure that those eggs are being produced at a high rate. But the moment they're done, and I can get some of the other ranchers to help with that, they're going to run this room and start applying the lullaby effect to eggs. So as I'm playing through, I realize that operator just happened to drop a little piece of sand on that scale, meaning when the last egg drops off or is processed, that scale doesn't realize that there's no eggs done. So I did give myself a manual override switch for anything that might go wrong when I want operator to be able to get out. So I'm able to use that, and then I'm going to make a little refractor to deal with that. So the solution I came up with is pretty easy. I just put a bin on the left side of the incubator, and I've marked it store anything that I sweep other than eggs. So if a piece of sand or anything else other than the egg is there, I can just sweep it, and with operators in the room, they'll take it off and throw in that bin. Easy solution. So the first stone hatch is born, and this is more to do with the Down the Hatch achievement coming up later. But the first dupe was about to take it down to the stable, and they decide to go on break as they're going down the fire pole and decide, oh, I'll drop them in some water. Just fantastic. In the end, I was able to get another rancher to save them. Getting another dupe that likes ranching because I need more ranchers. It is cycle 50 and my dupes have eaten 136,000 calories. It's going to take a while for all that meat to be produced and consumed, so I'm enhancing the base, starting off by filtering water that comes from the toilet, and I got a slimed oxygen system. Not very effective, but doesn't use much power. I'm going for all achievements, including the super sustainable, which means I can't burn coal amongst other things, so built a lot of manual generators and starting research on glass forge and solar panels. To make sure that Red Bolt doesn't die from lack of power, I'm putting every dupe in its own schedule. First smooth hatches laid, I process them first before the others. Set up a glass forge, building a insulated path up to the sky that ultimately has masks at the very top so dupes can exit. Brought on an 8th dupe called Explorer. Put a pug slug in my base, figure that's going to give me a little bit of power without breaking the super sustainable achievement. Put a little bit of automation to pick up meat from the killing floor to the electric grill. Work has started on the solar panel array on the top of my base. So I got the locavore achievement, still need the carnivore achievement, so more meat needs to be consumed. It is cycle 88, and I've been incubating eggs on almost every start of cycle, but it has paid off. I finally have achieved the carnivore achievement. Yay! Just wanted to leave you with my thoughts on this process versus what I've done in the last few episodes. I had a different technique in those episodes where I got the same achievements, locavore and carnivore. I like this one a lot better, and the reason for that is I waited for full automation of the incubator room before proceeding. I did it in phases in the other one. It just made a lot more manual work, so that was good. The other thing is I have 2 of my stables with Sweetles, and I like that because I'm going to be able to do more medium long-term food production with that going forward. So I'm feeling I'm in a better place than I was in the last few episodes. So I'm going to continue on with this space to get the remaining achievements. So hopefully I'll see you in a future episode where I get another achievement.